Hi Anna. So, a common question you get asked a lot is how the visually impaired go out to restaurants. So, can you please share some of the dining etiquettes you follow when you go out?
Sure. Hi again. Yes, one of the questions I get all the time is how do I go out by myself? And how do I know what's on my plate and on the table? And I think this is a great information to share with viewers because that's one of the biggest I guess issues that we visually impaired people face when going out. Very often, one of the things that the visually impaired comment is that when we go out to a restaurant, the waiter or waitress, they don't talk to us. They think that because we're blind, we are probably deaf, and whenever they are bring the menu, they don't actually talk to us. They ask somebody else who is next to us, like, what does she want? And we can actually we can actually we can just like anybody else, we can talk. So, but one of the things that I thought I would share is when dining out with someone that is visually impaired, with a friend. And nowadays we're getting a lot of older adults that are getting age-related eye diseases, and a lot of older adults with low vision. And sometimes, when we're losing our sight, we think that we're able to see, but we're not. So when dining out, dining out with someone that is blind or visually impaired, there is dining etiquette that you can use and help us, to describe what's on the table. So first of all, we use what we call the clock, and this, by the way, not always work with everyone, but pretty much can be very helpful, especially when you have a blind child, and you're teaching the kid as the kid is growing older, to teach them how to find food and how to have those social skills and how to have just dining etiquette. So we use the clock, and the way we do is you would describe that the food is either at 12 o'clock. We use a clock, so you would tell me the food is at at 12 o'clock. Salad is at 6 o'clock. Whatever food on your plate is at 3 or 1, or just using the clock. And then the same for the drink, or whatever utensils are on the side, or just whatever it's on the table. And these apply not only at the restaurant, by the way. This could be at home, anywhere, just to help the person, because we want to just have that etiquette and be able to eat just like anybody else, and be able to visualize. So you place this food on my plate, and I don't know where the food is right now.
Yes, so I will tell you right now. Let's see if I can try it out.
Okay.
So,
I know this is new to you, kind of.
it is. Hopefully, I remember how to tell time.
Okay.
So, your pasta is at 12 o'clock.
So it would be right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I feel it.
yes. And your pizza is at, I would say, between 3 and 5.
3 and 5, so around here.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And your breadstick is at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, it would be right here.
Right, yeah.
Right here.
Yes.
Okay. So see, that's the way we describe food. So we can also use the other way, that like you can say north, south, east or west. You can. I'm very used to the clock one, but some people prefer like, oh, your salad is at north, on the north side. Your mashed potato or baked potato is, I don't know, on the west, and your steak is, south.
I think with the clock you can be more specific, right?
Yes, that's right. Because say that you place, I don't know, whatever my drink, like my drink right now, I would say that is at what, maybe 10?
Mm-hmm.
Say that you place my drink over here, the waitress came, and they can easily say, oh, your drink is at, I don't know, between maybe 1 and 2. Right? And I'm visualizing that. And I was able to see before until I was age 19, but it doesn't matter if you were born blind because you grew up learning, how the clock looks like, and right away you visualize. If you tell me your drink is at 1 or 2 or 3, I know. And for example, also, if you say the napkins here in front of me, in front of you, at 12, right?
Yes.
Sometimes this is a little difficult, when we go out to a restaurant because the setting is never the same, and waiter and waitresses, they don't know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's better when we go out to eat with someone sighted. It's great if they describe this to us because we don't want to be digging out on the plate and just looking weird and people not wanting to eat with us, right? And sometimes we want to be so independent that we might end up knocking things down, on the table. And sometimes at the restaurant, they just, you want to reach for butter if they have a container with butter, or they have, sugar or whatever, cream for your coffee. So sometimes it's better just to ask the person that you're dining out with. But it's very important that, for sighted people, for them to understand that with description will be fine. If you just describe, your I don't know, steak knife is whatever. I mean, usually have to know the etiquette of where the forks go or where the knives go, but that really helps. One thing that I also wanted to share is about when we go to a restaurant and we get steak
Mm-hmm.
or salad. Sometimes it's a little challenging to. Sometimes we can get a lot of food and have a big piece of because we're not able to see,
Right.
or sometimes we miss and we don't really bring anything to the to your mouth.
Uh-huh.
So one good thing a technique is always, of course, always keep a napkin. I use a lot of napkins, but it's if you want to follow the etiquette and eat properly, always keep a napkin on your lap, just to make sure that you can, if you're getting your fingers small. But one thing that really helps is if you use your knife the way it's supposed to. And you can always if this is steak, I know this is pizza, but you can find the edge of the steak, feel it, and this way, I'm using it the wrong way, but this way you can find the edge, kind of feel it with your fork, and then cut it, Or one thing that I usually do and I suggest is if you're gonna get a steak, you can always ask them to cut the steak in small pieces, and
Oh,
that
that's
way,
right.
yeah, when they bring your food, you already have your steak in little pieces and it's easier to eat. Salads, gotta be careful with the salad. Sometimes you get the Caesar salads and they're like huge leaves and it's just so difficult.
The croutons.
The croutons too. It's difficult. Sometimes it's hard to get them, and you don't want to be digging with just your fingers. I mean, there is food that everyone eats just with their fingers, but it's important to keep the etiquette. And this is really helpful with someone that is blind, for a kid that is growing up, a kid that was born blind, and as a parent, it's important to teach them dining etiquettes, when eating, going out, because, I mean, it's just weird eating with someone that is, just digging all over. And you want to be able that when you eat, sit straight like anybody else. You don't want to be like that.
Hunched, yes.
Yeah, and even if we're visually impaired, whenever we're eating and just dining, you want to be looking at whoever is with you, face the way the person is looking at you. And for an older adult who is losing his or her sight later on in life, this is very helpful because very often we tend to believe that someone who's older is, we don't really think that they're going blind. We just think like, oh, it's because the person is old.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're, on denial.
Yes.
And they try really hard to use whatever sight they have. And it could be very frustrating. So we just want to be able to
just help others out. So it's always good to have a visually impaired friend that's, there, and like, for example, they know the clock and all that to help you out and it's also good to teach your kids that at a young age
Yes.
that are visually
Yes.
impaired.
Yes. So I thought this would be important to share, and I'll share with you in my next YouTube video, and I'm gonna do this video in Spanish.
Thank you.